First, let's talk about this issue of a study visa, or let's say a visitor's visa to a study permit. A lot of people still don't understand this concept. Now, someone asked me yesterday, Milton, can I change my visitor's visa to a study permit while I'm already in Canada? This is the reason why I am here. And I want to draw your attention to something. Guys, there is a lot most of these people don't tell you. Yes, I really do understand that we are looking for the cheapest means possible, the easiest means possible. But if you look at it very well and remove the section for the budget, you will realize that the visitor's visa is not the best visa. But of course, I have said on this YouTube channel, and the video is still there, that if that is the only option you have, then take it, because it is better in there for you to struggle than to struggle where you are. I understand where you are, and of course I know very well. Now let's take a little break and I will explain some things to you about the various visas that are good for you to take before you enter into Canada. Then I will come back and explain to you the details that you need to know about the visitor's visa to study permit. Okay, because a lot of people don't know these things. Let me explain again. Now, I have said many times that on this channel that the easiest and most reliable ways to move to Canada is one, through a working contract. I still see people asking me how to apply for working visa. First, you need a contract from the employer. Being it in Canada, or if you are in Cameroon or in Nigeria or in Ghana, you need a contract from the employer, the owner of the company, I mean, or the company. You need a letter from them to show that they are giving you the job. Now, when they are giving you that job, they need to give you all those letters alongside the insurance and everything. Then you apply for your working visa. It doesn't matter if you are the one sponsoring the trip or them or they, but you need to apply for a working visa only after you have gotten an employment, all right, or an employment offer. Now, that's the first visa. The best visa, which is the second type I want to talk about, is the study permit, which means that you have to apply for a university or a college. Then when you get admissions, you now apply for a study permit on IRCC, right? That is the second best. Then the last one, which is the cheapest among all of them as I know, is what we call a permanent residency. Permanent residency is a point-based something or pathway to move to Canada, where the Canadian government go to a pool of applicants and pick qualified applicants based on points, then invite them to apply for permanent residency. Remember, as a PR holder, the only advantage or the only difference a Canadian citizen has over you is the passport. Every other thing is equal. You are more or less like a citizen. Now, these are the visa types you can use to migrate to this particular place called Canada. In case you want to follow the study visa now with the aim that when you arrive in this country, you are going to change it from a maybe study visa to from a visitor's visa to a study visa. In case you want to use a visitor's visa to enter into Canada, with the aim that when you enter there, you are going to change it to a study permit. There are a lot of things people are not getting here. And that is why I'm here again today to explain these things so that you understand what you want to involve yourself in. First, when you apply for the visitor's visa, it's not my duty again to explain to you because you already know what to do. Then when you enter into Canada, there are two ways you can change that visa. Either you get a working permit or a working contract, or you change it to a study permit. Now, remember, we are talking about the study permit here because I already have a video on the channel where I talked about how you can change it from your visitor's visa to a working permit. And in this case, there are clauses that you need to understand. There are things involved, which I already explained, that you need to meet your employer. The employer apply for LMIA. Then in case it is approved, then you take it now, go to the necessary officials and change your visitor's visa to the working permit. But again, before it is approved, they need to check that job, they need to check the company, they need to check the employer. That is why the job must be posted for 28 days for them to actually know that there was nobody who was qualified for you to take that job. There are videos on this channel, so please make sure you verify them again and watch so you know. Now, this is the second part. Either you can change it to a working permit, or you change your visitor's visa to a study permit. Remember, this is where a lot of us we don't get it. Remember, the fact that you are already in Canada, you still need to apply for a study permit. Guys, this is where a lot of you, and all those things that you did when you were in Africa, or for those who applied already, all those things that they produce to apply for this visa I'm talking about, their bank statement and all those other necessary documents, you need to prove them as well. All right, and now your letter of explanation is going to be different. It's not going to be like you are writing from Africa. You need to explain why you are applying for that in Canada. Now let's break it down. Remember, for you to change it now, there are stages. Stage number one, you need to first of all do a crash course. They call them crash courses. Example is English for academic preparation. Those courses last 3 months. You can ask in there when you arrive there. They are going to show you. When you go to most of the colleges, you are going to find those such courses there. Courses that last 3 months only. You now take 3 months to study this course. Remember, you can only stay in Canada for 6 months. Okay, after 6 months, if you have not changed your visa, you have to return back home before you go again. That is the maximum you can stay. Now, if you want to change your visitor's visa to a study permit, you need to now apply for a crash course. They call them 3-month study programs. Remember, these courses are not free and they are not cheap. So you have to get ready financially. Remember, you still need finance to be paying your accommodation while in Canada, except you have a family there where you are going to be staying. I'm explaining these things to you so that you take time and really look into it and consider your budget with other factors before you start the journey. Now, when you are trying to register for this crash course, you have to register, of course, do the course for 3 months. When it's over now, then you now apply to a college or a university. You get me? Then when you apply now, they are going to give you the offer letter, right? Then you take the offer letter alongside that certificate you got for that 3 months course. You now go to the company, to the competent officials. Who are the competent officials? IRCC. You now go to the website, check the other documents that you need to apply for this particular study permit while you are already in Canada. Remember, the documents are almost the same. You still need to show proof of funds and the amount is there. You still need to show your money for living costs, the amount is there, and everything, including your tuition fee. And again, you still need to prove that after the program is finished, you will return back home and you need to prove why you are applying for the permit in Canada. This is something you need to understand, but most of the time you would get the admissions. Okay, you can still get the visa, but this is how the process looks like. So I'm just explaining this to you so you understand, because a lot of people are just telling you when you go in there you can change it, when you go in there you can work. They are not explaining a lot of things to you that you need to even understand. A lot of people don't know about these things. I was telling somebody a few days back that he cannot stay for more than 6 months in Canada without changing the visitor's visa to a working permit or study permit. He was like, but my agent said I'm giving the visa for 5 years. Yes, you are giving the visa for 5 years. That is where he is manipulating you, because he is not telling you that 5 years depends on the passport duration. They can give you for 5 years, 10 years. It's not a big deal, but the policy says that you have to convert that visa back to a working permit or a study permit before 6 months. After 6 months you have not converted the visa, you have to return back. Remember, you still have 5 years or maybe 6 years left before you can go again, because that visa, if you check on the passport or on those that already received that, you are going to see that it is a multiple entry. Multiple entry means that you can enter Canada, exit Canada, enter Canada, exit Canada. This is the meaning of multiple entry visa. It means you can enter at any time and go back at any time. That's the reason they are giving you 10 years, because they know you can live for 6 months, then you return back home before you come back again. You understand? So please, this is something you need to pay attention to. It is very, very important. For those of you who have been asking me about colleges, remember, my duty here is to share information. If you find a college, that's fine. I also share stuff on my Facebook pages, so please make sure you verify them, and of course you join the community so that everything will be great. I'm also sharing videos on there. Also understand that Europe is now becoming very tough and difficult. In case you have been thinking that no, maybe I'm going to move back to Europe. From Europe, I move to Canada. Even the Czech Republic now, it's very, very difficult. 10 appointments per month. Yeah. Places like Poland, no appointment. Lithuania, now they are giving the temporary residence permit, but I still don't know how their appointment system works. So please, you need to put this into consideration. All these things have to be considered. Budget is very important. If you are not having the same budget, if you do not have the same amount of money, a lot of people want to move in there. Of course, somebody told me that they are not really interested in the school stuff. They just want to seek odoro. If you don't know the meaning of odoro, put a comment down there, then I'm going to explain to you further. When I ask the person now, what happens? Do you know how it takes, or the duration for you to get the odoro? Do you actually understand the meaning of odoro? The person said, Milton, I don't care. In that case, I cannot advise somebody who is like that. You understand? You cannot tell somebody, because most people, when they are already bent on doing something, when it comes to these study abroad opportunities, you cannot change their mind. You can't change their mind. So that is something that you need to put into consideration. This is the process, the real process for you to change this to. But in case you already have your spouse who is already schooling there, you understand. If your spouse is already schooling there, why not? You can check it. Then when you reach there, your spouse will take you now to the border between USA and Canada. You go to their office and tell them you want to change your visitor's visa to an open work permit. They are going to do it for you without you going through a lot of stress. The only stress is when you are still moving at fresh, when you don't have a spouse in there. That is where the only stress comes in from. I hope you understand. Till we meet again in another one. In case you want to move to Canada with a visitor's visa and you are doubting how to change the visitor's visa back to a working permit, an open work permit, and in this same scenario, if your spouse, your husband or wife is already there and you guys are legally married, then it is very easy for you to do this. Okay, it is very easy for you to change your visitor's visa to a working permit, an open work permit. Now, how is it done? If your spouse is already a student in Canada and you are still in Africa, if you use a visitor's visa and you enter into Canada, then you can change that visitor's visa to an open work permit. There is a place where you can go there, but remember, you have to go with all the proof, your legal documents to show that you are a student in Canada, and of course the legal papers to prove that you guys are legally married. Okay, you have to gather all this, then go to the border and do what is called, I'm forgetting the name, but you are going to go to the border between US and Canada. That is where they can change your visitor's visa to an open work permit, permitted that your spouse is already in there and he or she is a student. So this is something you need to put into consideration, because I've been receiving a lot of messages. People seems not to understand anything. But remember, if you are not yet married, you don't have a spouse in Canada, then this process may be a little tedious for you, because you have to go in there and struggle to get an LMIA approved jobs. Remember, the company must be a recognized company, and after that, you are going to collect the LMIA to the various offices. Then from there, they are going to change the visa for you. Remember, it's not that easy to change it, because of course you need LMIA. That's the first document. Then after the LMIA, you will now tell your employer, inform your employer. But before your employer even apply for the LMIA, your employer needs to notify them, and your employer needs to prove to them that the job they are giving to you, nobody was available for after 28 days as a permanent resident or as a citizen to collect that particular job. That is why they are giving you the job. So these are the clauses there. And again, this is not done by every employer or every company, because some are not registered and the government knows just few. The company who is giving you the job and LMIA must be a registered company in there. Otherwise, your LMIA will not be approved. And remember, they can't approve your LMIA if you do not have required qualifications. This is one of the things I've been singing and telling people, but some of them will blast me because they think that me telling them to go get degrees is a real problem. Okay, there are a lot of factors involved here. So if your spouse is in Canada, then you can then apply for your visitor's visa and move. As soon as you go there, you can go to the border and change it, guys.